kid did mention a nun that was there when I was there. Sister Regina and the one that hit me, Sister Hyson, were mentioned in that thread. And everybody had the same thing to say about Sister Hyson. I hope she's burning in hell.
Yeah.
She fucking poked me in the eye one time, blah, 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 blah. I had done great at that school.
You did great?
They didn't like me because I didn't drink milk.
Oh.
I didn't like milk. I didn't
Me
like
neither.
the taste of it. I don't like milk. I don't like it. So they would pour it over my head.
Milk?
Yeah. At the end, you had to show them your tray.
Yeah, the milk
So
carton.
your little jail fucking, TV dinner portion had to be empty. And then they would check your milk and your water.
Yeah.
You got to drink your milk and your glass of water. And I would always drink the water.
Yeah.
But I would have to drink milk the way he eats mushrooms and stuff.
Hold your mouth.
Hold your nose. I mean, that's how bad I fucking hated it.
Did you drink chocolate milk?
Like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Or strawberry milk. Or strawberry quick.
Yeah.
They didn't accept that. They were like, we can't.
Right, you had to drink. Back in those days, they believed,
you had to drink milk.
You needed milk for your bones or some shit.
She fucking drew beatings on me. And then, the last year, I started getting a little old. I was hanging on 148th Street with some fucking, where I lived was nice white kids.
Mm-hmm.
Where my godmother lived, they were street kids.
Right.
And their rules were a lot different from the rules on 88th Street. These kids lived 4 to a bedroom. Their rules are different.
Right.
And I started listening to their rules a little more. Their rules made a little bit more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell them they would go, you get hit. Everybody in the 70s knew you got hit in Catholic school.
Right.
Like that was.
It was known.
It was known.
Yeah.
That you got hit. And they would say, next time they hit you, block that shit. And they would tell me stories about that cousin Guillermo knocked out a nun in the Bronx. And I'd be like, what?
Really?
You hit a fucking nun? Yeah, they knocked her out. They fucking punched her and shit. I'm like, bro, that
really?
Like, you're gonna go to hell for that.
Yeah, that was harsh.
But I started thinking about them. Like, I started thinking, as I was going there, Bruce Lee came out.
Yeah.
And I remember one beating I got that wasn't pleasant. And I remember going home, not saying nothing to my mother, and just saying to myself the next time, I didn't talk to that nun. Like, I never had contact.
Did they have a paddle or something?
They had a paddle,
yeah.
too. They had a paddle, a pointer.
Yeah.
They would hit you with a pointer. Then there was a guy there that had been in the orphanage, and he would have a dog that would bite you.
Really?
Like a little mud dog that would grab your jeans and shit. He would hit you with the stick. If you think about it now, then as a child, you don't know, you know.
It's amazing they got away with that shit. But
They
back
got away
then,
with it. Because in the 70s, if you went home and told your father that the guy down the block, Lee, kicked you, he'd go, what did he kick you for? There's got to be a reason. I called him a fucking Jew. Okay.
Well, there you go.
Well, then I'm going to smack you because I didn't raise you to call people a fucking Jew.
Exactly.
So you couldn't go home and tell your father that.
Yeah, they wouldn't back you up
They
back
wouldn't
then.
back you up back then.
No.
The parents would go, then you deserve to
That's
kick
right.
your fucking stomach.
If you fucked up, they'd say, well, there's a reason why you must have. It's not like today the parents would come to the kid's defense or whatever. Even if the kid did wrong, he would, you can't touch my kid no matter what he does. But back then, they could do that.
They could do that.
Yeah.
But I went back on the thread, and there was nothing for sexual assault. But I remembered I told the story on stage. I don't know if I told it on stage. I remembered about the kid I stuck up for when I got thrown out of Catholics. There was a reason why I stuck up for him. The reason why I stuck up for that kid was he was a little on the weak side. Him and his brother were twins, and the guy I stuck up for was getting harassed by this big black kid.
Mm-hmm.
This big black kid's name was Lazarito. He could have been Cuban or Puerto Rican or Dominican. I don't know. We'll just say he was a black kid.
Right.
Because he was very, very dark. I remember him being very, very dark.
Right.
And there were rumors going around that Lazarito was fucking people in the ass.
Really?
And on the playground, that Lazarito would always ask people, yeah, we could do it all the time and shit like that. But I guess he found the weakness in Raphael and the Bravo brothers, and he started fucking, I'll never forget that I was a couple beds from them, but their heads were together.
Oh, boy.
So he would earmark them all night. Come on, let's go in the bathroom. We can get away with it. And people said they could hear it. And I was like, hey, you fucking guys crazy.
Really?
I had never heard of that age. I was 10. I didn't know anything about that world.
Yeah.
I knew about gay men.
Right.
But I didn't know that guys did it when they were in the 5th fucking grade. I had no fucking idea of this.
Yeah, that's like...
And sure enough, one night I got up to pee at 3 in the morning. I got up, and the nun's room you would sleep in a big dormitory, and the nun slept in the dormitory with you. Her room had a door and a wall, but the ceiling was open, like that'd be so she could hear us. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. I don't know if I woke up to pee, or I don't know if I woke up from hearing Lazarito fucking that kid. And I'll never forget, like, getting up, putting my slippers on, and walking towards the bathroom.
Did you really see it?
Between you and me, man.
I mean, do you know for a fact that you saw it?
Between you and I saw something.
You saw something.
I saw something.
Oh, it sounds like that.
What it was, I don't know.
Oh.
What it was, I don't know. I didn't know what the sex positions were. I was fucking 10 years old.
Yeah, I understand.
But I saw them over the urinal.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
okay, and he was doing something to his ass. I don't know what he was doing. So I went back and laid down. And I didn't say nothing.
Did you hear that laugh?
I went back.
God,
what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Interrupt him? I don't know if he was raping him. I don't know what he was doing to him. And I'll never forget that I talked to, like, there was a couple kids from Union City.
Surprised you weren't traumatized, but you didn't really see.
You don't have to pee anymore.
There was a couple kids from Union City that I had grown up with later after that. There was a kid that his father had a pharmacy 6 blocks from my mother's bar. And there was another kid that I had grown up there. And there was this mafia family. There were two of them. There were two brothers, Riberos. And I bumped into them years later.
Yeah.
And whenever I would bump into them, they would always go, "Hey, you remember Lazarito when he fucked Rafael Bravo?" And I always felt really bad about that. Like, I always felt like, man, that. And this year, I did a show at Gotham, and one of the guys showed, he married one of my friends. They got married later on in life, like in their 40s.
One of the guys from the boarding school?
From the boarding school.
Oh.
And I started talking to him back and forth.
Right.
And I go, do you think Lazarito? He goes, I remember mumblings about that. He goes, the Raphael kid was kind of fanook, too. I don't know if you remember that. And I mistook it as a weak kid.
Right.
You know?
Did they act kind of like,
I don't remember.
You don't remember.
I don't remember.
Who knows at that age?
But the other night, in my fucking highness,
Yeah.
because not only am I fucking whacking that, not only am I high on the caffeine,
Yeah.
I'm also whacking that toots roots in the back every 15 minutes. I'm hitting it with the pipe.
Yeah.
I'm listening to music. I'm writing in a notebook. I got a computer open at the same time. Let me check on this. I remember. And I checked on Lazarito. I went through all the Facebook, and there he was.
Really?
A grown man. I went to him. I went to his messages. I tried to be his friend. Add me.
What'd he say?
I didn't hear nothing. And then I hit him with a message. Hey, do you remember fucking Rafael Bravo in the ass in the 5th grade?
You said that? Oh, my
Yes, I did. And the next day he was off Facebook.
Oh, forget it.
So done. So I was right.
So you were right.
I was right.
Wow.
I was right.
Wow.
Something had happened.
Oh, yeah.
But he had kids now. He had a wife now.
Yeah, but the fact that you said,
Yeah.
that he might have been a fruity Damati, fucking banging the kid in the whatever, the culo.
I felt really bad because
wow.
I remembered those kids, how bad, like, the kid was traumatized after